Alright gang, I'm going to do another short tutorial of you watching me draw a little bit. So basically, just to recap a couple things is after I got the background in, I roughed the chair in, and then I can start, um, we call it rendering the chair. And after I've done the chair, now I've kind of at least roughed it in. Now I'm starting to do this chair and slowly getting to this mug or this cup. Now you realize the cup is starting to take shape, but it's really only because I've done everything around it. Okay, so I'm going to work on this for a little while and probably do a little bit of this cup to kind of give you a sense of how to make this take its shape. All right, and so let's begin. All right, now the value of the chair, this chair, is darker than this. And so I want to add some charcoal. Now either you can darken it by doing this, but I think I need more graphite. So go ahead and feel free to add it with a pencil. I'm using a darker pencil and I'm just pushing really light. But until you get your touch down, you may want to use like a 2B. So I'm going to get back there, kind of blend that out. You don't have to put it on perfectly because we can manipulate the value. It's definitely like really, not really dark, but darker here. So I'm going to add some more there and a little bit in here. See how fast I'm moving my pencil now. And then it's definitely darker on this bottom edge. Totally darker in this area. There was a highlight here, I erased that, kind of didn't show you that part, but I've got this thing coming in here. It's darker on this back edge, so I'll darken that up, kind of separate that. And for the most part, this little piece of wood here is lighter. So it's not much lighter, so I'll just drag my kneaded eraser over the top. That's perfect, okay? Now for a hard-edged highlight, I can use the edge of this and get in here and do a nice hard-edged highlight. And then if I need to darken certain areas, I could just come with my blending stump and kind of give it a light application. All right, at this point in the drawing process, I'm really looking mostly at the still life and less at the drawing because I'm trying to become really specific here. So this is darkening it considerably, so I'm not going to push very hard, but I'm going to try and just fill in some of the darker areas. So I have a dark spot right here and I don't want to make any darker. And in fact, I might take the chamois and just blot that out. See how nice that was? All right. And there are some sort of glowing highlights in this chair that I could probably do with the chamois. If not, I'll definitely do with the kneaded eraser. One here. And it looks like I'll use the kneaded eraser. I'll go to a tip and kind of take the shape of that highlight. I want nice soft edges on that so it looks like it glows. And there's a little one. I actually need to make the bead. There we go. And then what I can do with a darker pencil is just make that little line that's in between. And I'll do it here too. And this is a little darker than this, so I'll just add a little bit of value to that. Perfect. I have a good tip on my pencil because I need some fine lines there. So now moving into the cup, a little bit different here. I'm just looking at the values within the cup, and on this side it's much darker. But first, since I already have the drawing on top of the base value, I need to get rid of that line. Because that line isn't there, that's for us. So I'll get in here and get rid of it. So now I'm going to start working on behind the cup. Start working these values, because what you can see there is that actually really pushed it back. And I also need to start working on the values inside of the cup. One of the little tricks I do is I'll pick up some of this charcoal really lightly, or graphite, because it needs to be blended anyway. And then I can come in here with it and darken this value. Normally with cups, you use one half of the ellipse you're trying to push forward, and the other side of the ellipse you're trying to push back, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So here I'm darkening this. That looks pretty good, just for the beginning here. And then on this side, it's actually a little darker in the front, so I'm going to pop this edge forward, push this edge back, so they're kind of working opposite each other. And there's little nuances of like reflected or reflected light. I'm just going to see what this does, because I have some lighter lines that go throughout the piece. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that at the moment. We could move on to this cup here. Trying to keep this short. First thing I need to know is this lighter than this? Is the front of this edge lighter than this? And the answer is yes. So I can lighten that a little bit, and then I can go ahead and with my graphite pencil or charcoal and just darken that just a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and even that out. You just barely see the cup behind it. It's like kind of in further than it should be because the light is bending as I look through. There's a huge highlight here. This is darker. I'm just going to go ahead and do kind of a drastic move there. This is lighter. Now there's many installments in which I could do, but the one thing I want to show you that is really important is in terms of the bottom, the relationship between the bottom of the glass and the top of the glass. This is lower, therefore the back of the cup is going to be slightly more circular than the top. That gives us the illusion that this is out in front. So you may have to lower this just slightly to give that illusion. And so this is the lowest, this is the closest to a circle we have, slightly less closer to a circle, even more less closer to a circle, if that makes sense. That gives us the illusion that this is lower and this is higher. I still have some work to do in fixing my ellipses. This one is a little pointy, but we'll get there. I'm going to darken this edge a little. Okay, I still need to get this, my drawing board penciled in. That's going to be part of my foreground. And still, you know, I could still do the details on this bottle, the Coke, Pepsi Cola or whatever it says. So, you know, I could still get those in. It's just they need to be drawn in at this point. And you can kind of, you could go about two ways. You could do it very calculated, or if you're feeling like you're, you know, pretty on the ball with your drawing, you could also kind of rough it in and then kind of go in here and sort of put detail it in. So you could do it that way too. But either way, you really want the base value and then the sort of getting the top details, the bottom, and then you can do the any lettering or anything else in the cup. I also have a water line in here to put in, so that'll take some work, okay? But regardless, I think the most important thing is that it's done in the correct order. I'm going to push this back a little bit more. So I'm not outlining, I'm just sharpening the edge and darkening it slightly and then letting that kind of fade up. Alright, so that's this tutorial, and I hope you find this helpful.